Welcome to the No Budget Indie Film Cast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison, and with me, as always, is Claire Milan.
Hello.
And Cathal Feeney. All right, Claire,
Hello.
what? That's very delayed call. All right, Claire, what's on the agenda this week?
So this week we sat down to watch an Australian short film from 2010 called Glenn Owen Dodds. It's directed by Fraser Bailey, written by Trent Dalton, and stars Abe Forsyth and David Wenham. It's this film I came across because I read a book called Boy Swallows Universe by the guy who wrote this film, Trent Dalton. And it was a book that is my favorite book I've read in years. It is phenomenal. And I realized then afterwards the book was turned into a stage show, and now Netflix has bought Boy Swallows Universe, and it's been turned into, I think it's an 8-part series. So this guy who wrote, Trent Dalton, who wrote this short film, is going to be massive. And the fact Netflix has now bought his book, which is semi-autobiographical about his life growing up in southern Australia. And then this is 12 years ago. This was his first short. He comes from a journalist background. So I was really curious to watch this film and did it really, really well in film festivals. So it's about a guy called Michael who suddenly finds himself sitting down with a guy called Glenn Owen Dodds, which is an acronym for God. So he comes across a line of people and decides to join them. And it's like, what's going on? Oh, they're going to see God. And, you know, we have this image in our head of God. Well, I do anyway. If you believe in God, of this guy in the sky who has a big beard and, you know, big white clothes.
They're not Santa Claus, no?
What?
No, because he's wearing white instead of red.
Oh,
He's
right,
wearing
okay.
white clothes. So I just thought this was great because he goes in then, and it's this guy God, Glenn Owen Dodds, and he's kind of like a bumbling guy who loves betting, and he's in this really messy office. He's the guy behind me, and he's just completely not what we ever imagined God to be like. And why can't God be like this guy in this film? And Michael doesn't really believe in God. And the God character, Glenn, he goes through Michael's past and his age and his sins and how he liked his cousin and stuff and weird stuff like that. I thought it was really a really funny film. Was very poignant, extremely well shot. And I thought the script, if you look at the script, it was absolutely amazing. Like really, really terrific, because it's very hard to pull off comedy like this, but with the message, you kind of think, it makes you think a little bit. And the fact this writer who wrote this, Trent Dalton, is going to be massive after his Netflix thing, which is shooting soon. It's amazing to see his work over a decade ago. I really enjoyed this film, and so what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I liked it as well. And with the writing and the way it was presented, they did a really good job of whether or not is this guy actually God, right? Because he walks into the room and he's like, oh, hey, Mitchell. And he's like, Michael. Oh, yeah. Roland, no, Radcliffe. And so he's just very close every time. But then like kind of as it goes on, he gets more and more accurate. And he's and so you're kind of like, oh, maybe this is really God kind of a thing. And so they do a really good job of kind of playing with that of like, is he or is he not? And just having fun with it and playing him up as a really kind of quirky, goofy God, and just the bits with the time and stuff. And it's like, okay, start, okay, done. And so it's a lot of fun with the way they play with it. I thought so as well. I agree. It was shot real nicely, real just kind of simple shots, allowing the performances to kind of carry the film versus the cinematography. Yeah, I think across the board it was a really nice little film,
Mm.
and they did a good job with it,
Yeah,
especially with that writing.
but I absolutely love the Aussie sense of humor. There's something about Aussie comedies. They just have something, and it's kind. You can see it in this film, the beats and the kind of the characters. And we watched another film. Remember, I think it was set. What was the character thing? It was kind of set in a really surreal world, Utopia. I think that was Australian as well. But the same kind of humor you can see in this as the other film and other Australian comedies as well.
Yeah, it's a sort of a wry humor, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is, and it's funny because they do. If you've seen like Flight of the Conchords as well, it's kind of got that same kind of quirkiness as well. So you are right. There is something fun and quirky about Australian comedies.
Like Strictly Ballroom. I don't know if you ever saw
Although Flight of the Conchords is New Zealand, I should be clear, so somebody doesn't.
oh dear.
Yeah,
you're putting it there. What was the one you said? The Strictly Ballroom, yeah, Basil Luhrmann. Yeah, that was.
I love that film. It's just one of my favorite films. Or even Margot with the wedding. You know the one, the wedding. What's it called? Ooh. Muriel's Wedding. I love that film. It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you say the guy's name was? Trent Dalton.
Trent Dalton. So you will know his name in a few months, years time.
Once the Netflix series comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. Honestly, the book was my favorite book I've read in years. Like, it's just brilliant.
It almost sounds like a stage name.
Totally, that's what I was saying. I'm like,
I don't think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose it's not the time for me to say what a terrible film, this guy, he's gonna go nowhere. But no, I liked it. As you say, it's good humor in it, sort of low key, understated, and they do play up this is he, isn't he, and that's an important aspect of the film because it keeps you interested.
Yeah,
because there's a bit of intrigue. I wonder, is he real or isn't he real? And so that sort of carries it along. Apart from that, it's one of those films where it depends on to a huge extent for me anyway, on the sort of the payoff at the end. So you're sort of half enjoying it, you think, okay, but where's it going? Where is he going to go with this? And it has to be sort of satisfying finish, and there was, in fairness to this. There was a couple of things though I was curious about, is that all the other people, it seemed to be the few people we saw coming out ahead of him, they were all crying nearly and depressed when they came out, So and his experience was totally different to that. So there seemed to be a little bit of inconsistency there. But I suppose that's just sort of part of the gag. Like, he's worried. What am I going to see? What's going to happen in here? But yeah, it was overall a nice little film.
Maybe their question for God was a serious one that involved a very unhappy answer.
Yeah. What was his question? His question: Why do we exist?
Why do we exist? Or something. Why are we here?
Why are we here? Yeah. But the question is, maybe without giving anything away here, which I'm going to. Sorry, folks. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Does he predict the future, or does he shape the future? You see.
Yeah, interesting.
So.
And who's ringing him? Who's ringing him on the phone?
That's another question. It could be God. Oh, he's God. Maybe it's Jesus.
Maybe he's Jesus.
Yeah. Maybe it's a God from a different universe. Actually, who knows?
And if he is God, why can't he predict the winner of the horse races?
Yeah, or does he do it on purpose? Because if he did predict all the winners,
well, that'd be no fun.
Maybe he's doing it on purpose to put up a show. That's what I thought. Just kind of show a front,
Maybe if he's running low, he does. Presumably he already knows what it is. Right? I'm without having to fix the race.
Yeah,
presumably he already knows what it is. So how could he make himself, forget or pick the wrong winner. Maybe he knows what's going to win, and then he picks the loser, and so he can have a moan about it. All these questions we have to ask, trying. So there's so many flaws with this film, really. It was good. It was good.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we rate it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Cathal, you want to go first? Or you want me to do it?
I'll go. It was a nice film. It was fun. By the time you get to the end of it, you go, oh yeah, that was fun. That was clever. It was inventive, funny. I don't know if I said that already. And I'll give it 3.5 stars. I wasn't totally blown away by it, even to bring it up to 4 stars. But it just gives you it was a nice aperitif type of film.
All right. For me, yeah, I liked it. It was just a fun little movie, very light, not overly dramatic. Had some comedic moments to it that didn't, that worked within the world that this was set. So I'm going to go a little bit higher, Cathal, and go 4 stars instead of 3.5.
Brilliant. So for me, I'm so excited to see what this guy does next with the Boy Swallows universe Netflix, which will be out next year. And I really enjoyed this film. I love Australian humor, very well acted, very funny, very witty, and makes you think afterwards. So I'm giving it 4 stars.
All right. Well, there you have it, No Budget Filmcast audience. We like the film, and you can let us know what you think of it by checking it out and then reaching out to us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. At No Budget Show is our handle. That's where you can follow us and comment and whatever. So with that, we'll say see you next time and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.